One of the most important questions when staining unfinished cabinet doors is the equipment you'll use and the quality of that equipment. The top quality spraying equipment used by furniture manufacturers is almost never available to the homeowner replacing his kitchen cabinet doors. So let's rule out the finishes that require that level of equipment and concentrate instead on the finishes that don't. Removing those finishes from your list of options doesn't really reduce the quality of the finish you can achieve, it only increases the time required to complete the project. Large furniture manufacturers need to build hundreds and sometimes thousands of pieces each day just to break even, so they simply can't afford to wait for stains and lacquers to air dry. They use stains and lacquers designed to dry quickly under ultraviolet lights or in high-tech drying ovens. The main purpose of their fast drying process is not to achieve the best possible finish, it's to achieve an acceptable finish in the shortest possible time. Now let's take a look at some finishes that don't require any expensive equipment and will produce a finish that meets or exceeds the quality of fine furniture. The easiest to apply, most commonly available, and in our opinion the best stains and lacquers are in the MinWax line. They're sold by all the big box stores and will produce excellent results in most woods. I say most because maple and to a lesser extent cherry are difficult woods to stain. When unprepared maple is stained, it becomes blotchy, with some areas looking darker than others of the same board. So how do you reduce the blotching with dark stains on maple? If you're going to use a wood stain, you'll need to pre-treat the wood with something to limit the penetration of the stain. The doors will need to be treated with a sealer to limit stain penetration. MinWax pre-stain wood conditioner is one. Another is de-waxed Zinsser sanding sealer cut with denatured alcohol. A Google search will produce additional options. Always experiment with your sealing and staining in scrap wood and not your new unfinished cabinet doors. Now we'll take a look at some of the easier woods to stain. Oak is probably the easiest wood to stain, and the other woods range from easy to moderate. MinWax makes a large selection of wood stains for all wood types, but for this example, I'll limit the discussion to oak. Most unfinished cabinet doors will be finish sanded to 180 grit. This is the industry norm and is a good compromise for all wood types. While some cabinet makers will resand to 220 grit and some to 150 grit, well over 90% find the industry standard 180 grit to be ideal. The most popular stain used on oak is MinWax Golden Oak. Just shake the can in case the stain is settled and then apply the stain with a brush or rag. MinWax says to let the stain sit on the cabinet door for between 5 minutes and 15 minutes. I always go the 5 minutes and then wipe the excess off. Wait 4 hours, and if you want the stain to be darker, apply the stain a second time. Don't sand between stain applications. Limiting the soak time to 5 minutes prevents the stain from soaking too deeply into wood pores. When the stain soaks too deeply, it tends to seep back out for hours, which makes you wipe off the excess again and again. After you have the stain look that you want, it's time for the lacquer. There are several choices, and MinWax offers several. I've had excellent results with fast drying polyurethane. Remove any dust from your cabinet doors with a soft cloth and lay the door flat. Open your polyurethane can. I don't recommend spray cans for this project, and gently stir the poly. Try and avoid introducing bubbles. That's why poly is never shaken. Now you're ready to brush on the first coat. This is one of those times when you don't want to buy the cheapest brush in the store. You don't need the $20 brush, but avoid the 99-cent special that will leave hair in the finish. Start by brushing on a very light first coat, let it dry, and then very lightly sand it with 220 grit. You don't want to sand through the lacquer. This sanding is just to smooth any tiny bubbles that may have formed. Now brush on a second coat, let it dry, and gently sand again. If third coat is desired, just follow the same process. If you'll be applying the poly coats within 24 hours, you can avoid cleaning the brush by placing it in a Ziploc bag to keep it from drying out. And once you start staining and lacquering, it becomes easy and even simple. There's no need to hire a professional. You can do this.